guess what? There's such a thing as a really good high fence, and we can put those between the property. So I don't even have to interact with them.
Hello everyone, today we're talking about season 18, episode 12 of Sister Wives. Let's just go ahead and jump into it. The show starts out on a really positive note. Christine is having a 50s themed birthday party for her 50th birthday. Everyone is there getting ready. Avalon, McKelty's daughter, has the cutest little poodle skirt on. Everyone just looks really cute, and Christine is having a lot of fun. We find out during this part of the show that Christine followed through with the matchmaker and has started dating. She says she is just having fun right now. So you know what? Good for her. I'm happy to hear that Christine is out there meeting new people. At the birthday party is all of Christine's kids, except I didn't see Gwendolyn. And then Janelle, Savannah, Gabe, and Garrison were all there as well. I think I named everyone. But then also Christine's mom and some of Christine's friends. So, in the last episode, we found out that McKelty is expecting twins. But she hasn't actually told everyone in the family. Like, she hasn't told Janelle yet. So she decides to tell Janelle there at Christine's birthday party. Of course, Janelle is thrilled, and she actually cries a little. Tony points out that Janelle doesn't cry that much. So she is really, really happy for them. It is during this time that we find out who McKelty told first about the pregnancy. And we find out that McKelty and Tony told Cody and Robyn first. McKelty says it was because she was having really bad morning sickness, and her mom had never had issues with that before. And she was looking for advice. So she decided to tell Robyn and Cody about the pregnancy so she could ask Robyn for any advice she might have about morning sickness.
I guess we were the first people that she told. And of course I feel honored. And
personally, I think TLC putting this in there was just kind of silly. McKelty had to tell someone first. Someone has to come first. And that is basically what Christine says as well. Christine says that McKelty has a great relationship with Cody and Robyn and always will, and that sometimes she will go to them for things first. So Christine didn't seem bothered. I just think TLC was putting it in there because, gotta have something in the show. During this part of the show, there is a confessional with Christine where she talks about how she wonders what it would have been like if they had moved to Utah. She says she thinks it just would have prolonged things. Then they follow up with Cody, Janelle, and Robyn. Cody says it wouldn't have mattered where they lived. It would have made no difference at all. And Robyn says she wonders about how it would have been if they didn't move to Flagstaff or if they had decided to move back to Utah. She wonders if the family would have stayed together. Janelle, on the other hand, knows exactly what she thinks would have happened.
COVID really drove some big wedges in our family relationships. I don't think anything would have been different. We just would have been in Utah.
I did cut that scene into 2 parts for copyright reasons, but Janelle also says in the middle of that during COVID, Cody's preference for Robyn became much more pronounced. I think Janelle's right. It wouldn't have mattered where they lived. As soon as COVID happened and it really divided the family up more, it wasn't going to matter if they were in Utah or Flagstaff or back in Vegas. COVID really showed the family the issues they had, and COVID was going to happen no matter where they lived. So I agree with Janelle. But back at the party, everyone is having a great time, and there are some more confessionals with Robyn and Christine talking about how Robyn, Cody, and the kids weren't invited to Christine's birthday party.
it's really hard for my kids and I when we find out that the family is gathering and doing things.
So Robyn says that she wasn't invited and neither were the kids. And my thing is, why would they be? Like, why? Why would they be invited? And Christine ends up commenting a little bit later in a confessional, it's just not, it's not the time or place for a reunion. Yes, Robyn's kids should see their siblings, but this isn't the moment to do that, And Christine even points out, like, Isabel would have loved it if Robyn's girls were there. Her kids would have enjoyed seeing them too, but it's just not the place to do it. It is Christine's birthday, and those relationships aren't good. There's no reason to try to work them out on a day that you're celebrating. The show switches over to Meri, and she is in Utah. She has her friend Blair over. He is an interior designer. He's going to be giving her ideas for a carriage house renovation. And we find out that Meri met Blair initially online. So they talked online for a while and then eventually met. Now, Meri has some advice for meeting people online.
There's so many people, obviously, who put themselves out there as being somebody other than they really are. So you have to be very careful with people that you meet online.
If anyone was going to give advice about meeting people online, it could be Meri Brown. She has the cautionary tale, doesn't she? The whole catfishing scandal. She says it is still hard to talk about the situation, but she does mention that the whole thing was blown way out of proportion. And she says that when she talks to people online now, she requires that they all video chat with her. So the birthday party at Christine's has ended, and we've moved forward. And at this point, the show then switches over to Janelle at her new apartment in Flagstaff. And Cody is headed over for a visit, and it's going to be his first time seeing this apartment. Now, there's a lot of confessionals going back and forth. You know, we see Cody and then Janelle and Cody again. So during one confessional, Cody says Janelle just keeps rejecting him. But Janelle says during a confessional that Cody isn't actually making any real effort. And then Cody says this.
Or if I'm just kind of happy about her not wanting to reconcile. So I'm like, well, hey, let's go out next week and just talk about things.
I think that's it. I think that is the reason he is so low effort. He isn't interested. And you know what? Neither is she. That's my theory. So Cody goes over to the apartment and it looks really nice. I think it looks like a nice apartment. We find out that Cody has started spending more time with Savannah than he did before. And when he walks in the door, he gives her a big hug and he's really happy. He's in a really good mood and he's just very warm toward her and she seems happy to see her dad. It's such a big contrast from what we've seen earlier in the season and it's really nice. We do find out, though, that he still isn't talking to Gabe and Garrison. But you know what? The bar is low with Cody. So we got to just say progress is progress. One thing at a time. So hopefully in the future, he'll be talking to his other children as well. But today, in this episode, he has made progress when it comes to his relationship with Savannah. Now, Janelle is loving this new apartment. She says it's like her little sanctuary. It's her own place without Cody. You know, in the last apartment, he had stayed there and lived there sometimes. But now in this one, it's just her own space. And Janelle is not the only person who is realizing this. Cody realizes it as well. And this is what Cody has to say about it.
Maybe the whole reason Janelle moved here was because the other apartment was our place.
It was sort of interesting because I feel like when I watch Cody, I'm watching someone who doesn't understand other people's point of view. He doesn't understand other people's feelings. He doesn't understand the consequences of his own actions. But there, he was able to see, this is Janelle's apartment. This is her place. I haven't ruined this place by living here. You know, she likes it because I'm not here. And I was like, wow, Cody actually understood something correctly. Janelle likes this place because Cody's not in it. After that, the show switches back to Utah at the B&B where we see Meri, Jen, and Blair all together going over his design ideas. And you guys, we are quickly reminded of the fact that Meri is specific and controlling. She tells, Blair and Jen she doesn't like circles because they're not efficient, so she doesn't like the light choice he made. She says she doesn't like the color white, so she doesn't like the counters that he's picked out. Now, here's my thing. That in itself isn't what comes off as controlling, but the way she expresses herself, that is the issue. It's a little bit extra and then it comes off controlling. I think if she was more calm and not as animated, I don't know, it would just seem like someone expressing how they feel. Like if she was like, I really don't like white counters, that would be one thing. But the way she does it, it does come off a little bit controlling and she acknowledges it. And they do some flashbacks to the house in Vegas. We all remember when Meri wanted the wet bar. So she acknowledges that she can come off as controlling. But when she's talking about this, when she's talking about the carriage house, she says she likes that it is something that she is doing all on her own. She doesn't need to talk to Cody. She doesn't need to talk to the other wives. It's all what she wants. It's her thing. And she gives a little bit of insight into why she might actually be controlling about certain things in her life. I'm going to put a clip in of Meri talking about that here.
That comes from kind of a place of self-protection. I need to take care of me because nobody else is going to.
So that right there is Meri's reasoning for her controlling behavior. And this is what I'm going to say. If I was in a polygamous family where I always had to consider other wives and what they wanted, I had 18 children and all the resources were trying to be shared among those kids, and then I had a flop of a husband like Kody Brown, I imagine that when the moment came where I could have something the way I wanted it to be, I would want it to be that way. So I get what she's saying. I can understand when there's a moment where you get to have some control, I can understand her wanting to take it. So I kind of see her point. I don't think it excuses all of the things we've heard about Meri, like all of her behaviors, but I can understand what she's saying there. The show then switches back over to Flagstaff at Janelle's apartment. Cody is still walking around talking to Janelle and Savannah, and Janelle talks about the house she is planning on building out there at Coyote Pass. And Cody has a lot of opinions about the size of the house and what she is planning on building. But Janelle doesn't really know why. Listen to what Janelle has to say about it.
He's not putting any money up for the house that I'm building, so I don't understand this we thing. I'm the one doing the financing.
So Janelle is not having it. She is not concerned about what Cody has to say. If she is the one paying for it, good for her. But before you think Cody believes his opinion matters, I'm going to have to stop you. Cody actually knows that his opinion doesn't matter at all. There ends up being a confessional, and Cody basically agrees with what Janelle says. He says it's not up to him what this house is like. He is just giving his opinions. He knows he won't live in this new apartment, and he knows he won't be living in that house. Janelle does end up saying that the reason she wants to build out there on the property is she considers this to be a part of her estate. And I think Janelle just feels like this is owed to her. And to be honest with you, I completely agree. This property was something that was promised to the women in this family and they've been waiting for years. If she wants her portion of it, then I think she should get it. Janelle also brings up the fact that they make big fences. So in the end, she can live on that property and she's not going to have to deal with Cody and Robyn. So Cody just needs to make this happen for her. They need to pay off that property. Now they're in the apartment and they're talking, but there gets to this point, and remember, it's Savannah, Janelle, and Cody, where they just run out of things to talk about, and it gets really awkward, even for Savannah. I want to put in a clip here of Savannah talking about the kitchen sink.
We have a lot of a much deeper sink too.
We are all just trying to fill the space here, including Savannah.
Yep, it gets sort of weird for all of them. And during a confessional, Cody says that he has a whole life outside of Janelle and Savannah. But when he is with them, he doesn't want to talk about the life that he has outside of them. So he just doesn't have anything to say. So basically, Cody's whole world is Robyn and Robyn's children. And he doesn't want to come over to Janelle's house and talk about Robyn all the time. So he doesn't actually have any idea what to say because they make up most of his life. Now, at this point, there is a lot of going back and forth between Cody's confessionals and Janelle's confessionals. And honestly, it's really nothing we haven't heard before. Janelle does say, though, during one of them, that if she isn't with Cody, she isn't going to be nurturing her relationships with Robyn and Meri because it just doesn't make sense. There's no reason to. She doesn't have anything in common with them. She doesn't want to have a relationship with them. The only relationship she had with them was through Cody. Now, of course, Cody tries to use that against her. He says that that is what she signed up for. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a clip in here of Janelle talking about Cody's efforts to reconcile with her.
Always about Don't you want to get the family back together so that his life can run smoothly again? And I'm done with that. I really am.
I don't think it surprises anyone to hear her say that. I've had so many comments on this channel since I started it where people talk about how Kody just wants to work on the relationships with the wives for the show, for the money, and for his ego. Most people don't think Kody is sincerely in love with Meri, Janelle, or Christine. Next, the show switches over to Meri at the B&B in Utah. Now, it's a new day. We're no longer looking at interior design stuff with Jen and Blair. We've moved on. They are going to have 2 trees cut down, and these trees are really tall, which means they're really old. They're right in front of the house, and Meri is just sad to see them go. You know, she points out that these trees are really old, and they've probably seen so many changes in that house, and she's just disappointed that it's going to happen. She doesn't really want it to. Now, during this part of the show, Meri talks about her relationship with Kody, and she doesn't say anything new. Really, I don't think anyone says anything new that we haven't heard before during this episode, but I did find the parts where Christine and Janelle talked about Meri and Kody to be interesting. They both agree that Meri and Kody were really in love. Janelle says that she wouldn't have entered the family if Kody didn't manage his marriage with Meri well. She says they were the couple that everyone wanted to be around, and Christine said they were really cute. So of course, you know, that made Kody look like this great guy and like he was a catch. And so they wanted to be a part of the family. So this whole thing where Kody says that he was never in love with her, it just doesn't make sense. You hear from Meri that they were in love. Christine and Janelle say that they were in love. It just completely contradicts what Kody is saying. To me, this is just another thing that Kody tries to change to fit the narrative that works the best for him. He is just manipulating the story. I think Kody was very much in love with Meri at the beginning of their marriage. During a confessional, Meri says that she doesn't know what her future holds. Maybe she leaves. Maybe she just stays a part of the family. She doesn't know, but she does make a comparison with the trees being cut down to her relationship with Kody. She says she didn't want the trees cut down, but it had to happen, and after the trees were gone, it wasn't as bad as she thought. I think when she is free from being tangled up with Robyn and Kody, Meri will realize that she can be so much happier than she has been. But that is just my thought. You can let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and if you haven't already, go ahead and click like and subscribe, and I hope you come back here to Happily Ever Reality.